Could Jimmy G head to the Las Vegas Raiders this offseason in free agency following the Raiders releasing the best quarterback in that franchise's history in Derek Carr this week? That's what we're diving into on today's 49ers Report. I'm your host, Chase Sr. So there's a lot of growing buzz that Jimmy Garoppolo could team back up with Josh McDaniels, who was his offensive coordinator when Jimmy Garoppolo was playing with the New England Patriots, to be the team's next starting quarterback. And there's growing buzz here from all types of areas if the Raiders are not able to land Aaron Rodgers via trade. This coming from an NFL executive to The Athletic recently. Vegas would be fine for Rodgers. It just seems like a weird fit. Rodgers' personality and Josh McDaniels. I think Josh would probably rather develop his own guy than have Rodgers, and I think he'd rather have Jimmy Garoppolo over Aaron Rodgers. Now, this is interesting for a couple of reasons. As Garoppolo set to hit the free agency market, I do think that he's going to have suitors because there are several teams across the NFL who are looking for a quarterback, but I did ask Raiders legend Howie Long from Super Bowl Radio Row what he thought about the Raiders' interest in Aaron Rodgers, and he said, you know what, from a scheme fit, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because McDaniels likes to do things his way. Rodgers has been in a different system pretty much his entire career. Would they be able to mesh and have a marriage that leads to success in Las Vegas? So this is very interesting for a couple of reasons. It also makes sense for a couple of reasons. Why Sin City Jimmy could actually come to fruition. He has that familiarity with Josh McDaniels, as well as the general manager there, who has New England Patriots ties. The Raiders have a win-now roster with Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Mason Crosby, and a whole host of other players who actually played well last year. The Raiders just set the record for losing the most amount of leads in a single season. The roster makes sense from a construction standpoint because Jimmy G does need some supporting weapons, and the Raiders do have that, especially if they bring back Josh Jacobs, who is also going to be a free agent. The Raiders, as I just alluded to, blew 5 10-point leads this year. So just as easily as they were not in the playoffs, they could have been in the playoffs, and I actually think they had a pretty good squad, and Garoppolo has what the Raiders have been missing. He is a proven winner who has won more than 70% of his starts throughout his NFL career. Now, if Jimmy G were to go to the Raiders, considering the background that these two organizations have, as the Niners remained faithful to the Bay, the Raiders were not because they dipped for the money in Las Vegas, what would your reaction be if you saw Garoppolo in the black and silver? Let us know down below in the comment section. And, of course, as you venture down there, make sure you subscribe to us here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. We're 1,500 people or so away from 80,000 subscribers, and we have you covered with all of the latest happenings during 49ers free agency as well as the NFL draft. So lock us in. We will not disappoint you. As for what Garoppolo has done the last 4 years and why the Niners are moving on, and also, to that same point, why the Raiders might be interested. In 2022, he was playing pretty good football before he hurt his foot. He completed 67+% of his passes for 2,400 yards, 16 touchdowns to 4 interceptions in limited time. In 2021, thought he had a pretty good campaign en route to the Niners, making it to another NFC Championship game. Completed 68% of his passes for 3,800 yards, more games, obviously, than in 2022. 20 touchdowns to 12 picks. In 2020, his season got cut short, which is, of course, a massive, massive question mark for him. It's his availability and his durability. And in 2019, he completed 69% of his passes during that Super Bowl year, just shy of 4,000 yards, and a career-high 27 touchdowns to 13 picks. But why the Niners are moving on from him, in my opinion, he's missed far too many games. And he's played good football for San Francisco. But when you have him on your offense, you kind of put a ceiling over what you can do. In 2018, 3 starts, 13 missed games after he tore his ACL on that run to the left side, which really did just curtail all of the plans for the Niners. In 2019, played all 16 games, 0 missed starts. In 2020, 6 starts, 10 missed games. In 2021, he was pretty healthy, 15 starts, 1 missed game. And then in 2022, 10 starts and 5 missed. If you're looking for a franchise quarterback, these numbers here, not ideal for a guy who does miss a lot of time. Now, I do want to ask you this question next. Do you think the 49ers can make it to Super Bowl 58, which happens to be in Las Vegas? If you think so, make sure you smash that thumbs up icon and you like the video. The 49ers Report today is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 every single day, and it's really changed my life. I gave it a try because given my work schedule at Chat Sports, combined with how much training I do physically, I wanted sustained energy. I wanted to stay healthy. I wanted to boost my immune system so that I can strive toward my professional work life and personal fitness goals. I take AG1 every morning as part of my routine, and it sets the table for the rest of my day. It's helped improve my gut health. It's boosted my energy, supports my immune system, and helps me recover since I'm putting such a toll on my body as I'm closing in on 300 straight days of running. I also really like to prioritize my health and steer clear of harsh ingredients. That's why I love AG1 and its 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I mix 1 small scoop of AG1. I put it in the bottle that we just showed you. I also can drink it before and after my workouts. And I love that something that's this good for you and improving your health costs less than $3 a day. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, Athletic Greens is giving the Niner Gang a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. We'll put that link in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. We appreciate Athletic Greens for making today's show possible. Let's start to take some of your questions here on the show. We'll start off with John Wallace here with the $2 donation. Thank you, my guy. You think there's some late-round offensive lineman? I do. Nick Zakelj could start at center this year. He was drafted late by San Francisco in the 2022 NFL draft. Spencer Burford was a mid-round pick. So when you can get players that late, extraordinary value, the 49ers have done a good job of developing offensive linemen. I do think that you could find a quality player late. And shoot, after all, you found in the past some Hall of Famers, all teams in the NFL in the mid to late rounds of the NFL draft. Let's go next to Katie Boy with the $5 super chat. Good work, brother. Keeping it going. Thank you, my guy. Now, I personally think they should trade Brock Purdy and next year's first and the following year's second and fifth for Aaron Rodgers. Now, keep in mind that the 49ers gave up 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. So they don't have a first-round pick this year. They didn't have one last year. They don't have one the year after that in 2024. So you'd have to give up another future first-round pick. But do the Green Bay Packers want to give up Aaron Rodgers for Brock Purdy and only get draft capital back? A first, a second, and a fifth? I don't think that's going to be enough. Also, with Aaron Rodgers, the caveat, he's really, really expensive with that cap hit, checking in around $40, $50 million. So you would have to do some serious contract restructuring to bring him in. But, of course, Aaron Rodgers is a talking point because he is in that win-now mode that the organization for San Francisco is also in. Ernesto Ojeda, how should the Niners attack the cap since for next season if we re-sign some of our players on the current roster? So right now they have between $8 to $10 million of available cap space. A couple of things can happen. They can restructure the contracts for some of their highest paid players, and if they are able to do that and restructure the deals for their top 5 guys, I believe, they can open up about $50 million in cap space. I expect them to be smart in that regard and try to start to plan ahead while also building this team right now and trying to capitalize on that Super Bowl window. So I think that's how you attack the cap space there. And then, of course, you get savvy financially with some of those deals as well. John Wallace, $5 donation. What's our total amount of picks? We did get some comp picks, right? 11 picks as of right now in the 2023 NFL Draft for San Francisco, including what? 3 in the 3rd round, which I think is very, very valuable. You can find starters there. Harold Murillo, should the 49ers draft another quarterback? I wouldn't hate it. If you don't want to bring in a veteran, then you bring in a cheap rookie to see what he can become, to see how you can groom him like you did with Brock Purdy. He's not going to cost all that much money. So to bring in a quarterback in the draft like a Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA, I wouldn't hate that, honestly. Chris M., can we trade picks to move up? By the way, Jake Haener out of Fresno State, another guy who I really like for San Francisco. I think that he can play for a long time in the NFL. Maybe not as a long-term starter, but as a fill-in backup and as a fringe starter. Chris M., can we trade picks to move up? You can always trade picks to move up. No doubt about that. Mr. Black Ice, we're good at drafting in those late rounds, so let's get it again. Exactly. I mean, you look at some of the players that the 49ers have drafted in the mid to late rounds, George Kittle, Dre Greenlaw, Brock Purdy, Talanoa Hufanga, Elijah Mitchell. A lot of really good players who they found as diamonds in the rough. Logan, I want to see you do a full mock draft for the Niners in April of 2023. You know what, Logan? I'm going to do that just for you. And ahead of time, it's going to be called, as of right now, the Logan 49ers 2023 NFL mock draft. I just named it for you right now. But yes, we'll start doing more draft content in all seriousness. Do appreciate you for tuning in, and hopefully everybody tunes into our draft coverage as well. A big guy who a lot of people are talking about throughout this offseason is Daron Payne. So do you want the Niners to sign Daron Payne? I'm going to continue to talk about it on the channel in hopes that I can bring it to life. S for sign, P for pass. Let us know down below in the comment section. And make sure you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram. It's the same handle on both, at Chase_Senior. If you have a question about the Niners, draft, free agency, this entire offseason, whatever, make sure you hit me up down below in the comment section. And as always, thanks for tuning in to our mailbag here on the 49ers Report.